Welcome. This is Kayla McDonald with Magnetize Your Vibe, introducing you to Soul Sessions mini-series, a space where we come together as a community to heal deeply, awaken fully, and expand into all that we're meant to be. Thank you so much for joining me. It feels so special to finally sit down and share this space with you all. So what is Soul Sessions and what is it about? So basically, it's more than just a space for sharing my journey and teaching what I learned and discovered along the way. It's about building a community. It's a space for healing, for awakening, and for learning, growing, unlearning, and remembering who we really are underneath it all. This is a space where you get to show up fully as yourself, without masks, without perfection, and without needing to be anything other than exactly who you are in this moment. It's where you get to completely free yourself from all limitations and open your mind, heart, and soul completely to new thought of ideas and ways of being. Because I know what it feels like to wonder if there's something more to life, to this existence. To feel like you're just going through the motions, like there's something missing, like the world around you doesn't quite make sense in the way everyone else seems to think it does. I've been there. Before I stepped onto my spiritual path, life felt very surface level. I always had this inner knowing that there was more, that I was more, but I didn't know what it was or how to find it. I had so many questions about life, about who we really are, why we're here, where we come from, and what's the point of being here and what happens beyond this physical world. And the truth is, what we're told in the mainstream never resonated with me. And maybe it didn't for you either, and that's why you're here. I knew deep down that there was so much more. I could feel it, like a light inside of me trying to burst out. My spirit was pushing me to awaken. I needed to know what existence was all about, and I set out on a journey to find it. My first spiritual awakening happened when I was around 20 years old. And it wasn't something I planned in the moment or even really fully understood at the time. It happened during a psilocybin journey, and what unfolded was so profound, so deeply beautiful, it basically cracked me wide open. I remember feeling this blissful sense of being nothing and everything all at once. I could feel and see myself as pure light. I could feel how connected I was to all things, how we are all just one energy expressing itself as individualized fragments from one main source of creation. It was the most profound experience I had ever been through in my life, and everything made sense after that. That moment changed me forever. It planted a seed in my soul that has never stopped growing. And from there, it catapulted me into my own deep healing journey, moving through layers of childhood trauma, reconnecting with my authenticity, learning how to trust myself, love myself, and awaken to all of the spiritual truths that my soul was so ready and eager to remember. And ultimately, that journey is what brought me here to creating a space for others to remember and step into that power of this knowing. It's what pushed me to begin my journey in healing others, creating Magnetize Your Vibe, this channel to this space to share what I've learned and to help guide others who are walking their own path of healing and awakening. Because I believe ultimately we're all just walking each other home. So basically, this series is for anyone who is curious about spirituality, for anyone who is on a healing journey, for anyone who feels lost or disconnected, for anyone who has awakened or is just starting to, or is curious about what it all means. It could be for those who just want to feel seen, supported, and inspired along the way while they're on their own journey. So with all of that being said, let's dive right into our first conversation together. Because I know one of the biggest questions people have: what is spirituality really? And what does it mean to awaken? So let's talk about it. What is spirituality? Honestly, I think that's such a beautiful question because there is no one right answer. Spirituality isn't something outside of you. It's not something you have to become or achieve. It's who you already are. At its core, spirituality is about connection. Connection to yourself, connection to others, connection to the earth, to the divine, connection to the universe, to source, God, whatever word feels right for you. It's about remembering that you are more than just this physical body, more than your job, more than your past, your thoughts, or your struggles. Spirituality is about coming home to yourself. It's about peeling back the layers of conditioning and programming that the world placed on you and getting back to your truth. Your soul knows the way, and your intuition has always been guiding you. We just live in a world that teaches us to disconnect from that wisdom. And spirituality is really about remembering. Remembering your power, your worth, who you really are and why you came here. It's remembering that you are never separate from the universe, that you are the universe experiencing life through your eyes. And that's what leads us into awakening. Because awakening happens when we start to see life through those new eyes. It's tapping into what our soul already knows, awakening to the truth. When we realize we've been living on autopilot, following all these rules and expectations that were never really ours to begin with. And it's definitely not always comfortable, and it's not always beautiful. A lot of times it feels like your whole world is falling apart. But what's really happening is that everything false is falling away, so that only what is true can remain. And awakening looks different for everyone. For some, it happens gradually. Little moments of clarity, synchronicities, gentle nudges from the universe. And for others, it can happen suddenly. A single moment, a life event, a spiritual experience that completely shifts your perspective. But what awakening often has in common is this feeling of, I can't unsee or unfeel this, or I can't go back to sleep after opening my eyes and mind and soul to this knowing. Or that you feel like you know too much about who you really are now, about the world, the universe, about energy, connection, and purpose, that you could never go back. And when you awaken, you begin to notice things that you never saw before. Your relationships may shift. Things you once cared about might lose their importance. You may lose interest for things you once enjoyed because you realize that they aren't serving your highest good. We lose friends and disconnect from toxic family members. Small talk and meaningless conversations can be excruciating. And you may feel more suddenly drawn to nature, solitude, to creativity, to self-healing. You might even feel isolated for a time, like no one around you understands what you're experiencing or sees things the way you do. It can kind of feel like you're going crazy. And that's normal. Spiritual awakening can definitely feel very lonely at times. But I promise you, you are not alone. There is a whole soul family out there walking this path too. And this channel, this space, is here to remind you of that and connect you with your people who are on the same wavelength. So if you've been wondering, am I awakening? Ask yourself these questions. Do I feel like I'm craving deeper meaning in life? Am I questioning things I never questioned before? Am I becoming more sensitive to energy or becoming more intuitive? Am I starting to care more about inner peace than outside validation? Do I feel like I'm being called to heal, grow, create, and become more of who I really am? If you said yes to any of those, you are likely awakening. And although it's confusing in the beginning, it's a beautiful journey. It's messy, it's powerful, it's life-changing, and you are exactly where you're meant to be, my love. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for opening your mind and heart, and thank you for choosing to walk this path and opening your awareness and deepening your awakening. Next week, we will be diving deeper into how the world changes when you wake up and what you can expect and how to navigate it. So until next time, keep magnetizing your vibe. Sending you lots of love throughout your day. Namaste.